What's up, everyone? Make sure you log in, like, share, and subscribe to my channel, J.Matthew TV. Alright? So, today, in this episode, or this chapter of this docu-series, I wanted to do something of a sidebar, if you will, or interlude. I had seen something on Sanders channel that got me, I don't know if you want to say thinking, but it is something that needed to be addressed. And I felt like this gentleman here in the red hoodie, he explains or tries to explain what the snake in the garden is, and how homosexuality is, I guess in his eyes, he's saying the Bible saying it's okay. Let's just go ahead and get into it.
It's about that. So let me give you some history. Some real history. The serpent, since time immemorial, was a good guy. I said, the serpent, since time immemorial, was a good guy. So how in the fuck does he turn up in Genesis chapter 3 as a bad guy? I said, how in the fuck does he turn up in Genesis chapter 3 as a bad guy? Now, if the Hebrew Israelite community and if the Kemetic community take one moment to stop all the foolishness and madness and just study a little mythology, world mythology. You can take a world mythology course 101 at any community college. You don't even have to go to university. You can take it at a community college. But if you don't have money and can't go to a community college, you can always go to Barnes and Nobles and go to the religion/mythology section. Hell, you can go on Google or Wikipedia on the internet and look up the serpent in mythology. And what you will find is that pretty much every nation on earth has a mythological serpent creature in their mythologies. I said pretty much every nation has a serpent, i.e. snake, in its mythology. And in their mythologies, the serpent/snake is seen as a good guy. I said, and become invisible and blend in with their surroundings. The ancient people saw that as being very wise and cunning. They also saw the serpent as being a symbol of procreation and eternal life. Why? Because the serpent shed its skin once a season. And the ancient people looked at this shedding of its skin and leaving the skin, the dead skin on the ground, and moving on. They looked at the serpent or the snake as being able to live forever. So the serpent became a symbol of everlasting life in most mythologies around the world because of its shedding of its skin. The serpent also was looked at as a symbol of procreation, as a phallic symbol. Phallic meaning penis, i.e. dick, Johnson, cock. And so the ancient people looked at the serpent as having all of these great characteristics. None being evil. He is only evil when he appears in Genesis chapter 3. But if you look at the serpent in history, in mythology, the serpent is all-wise, all-knowing, eternal life, an animal that has procreative forces, and that's how he is looked at. And so when Jesus says, be ye therefore wise as serpents, he is actually reciting the narrative and the historical understanding of the snake prior to the Jewish, Hebrew, Israelites take that same wise serpent and flip the script and make him an evil character. The serpent also was a symbol. Get this, the serpent is also a symbol of the many, many goddess religions, goddess cults, goddess spirituality sects of the ancient Near East. I said the serpent was also a symbol of the goddess religions, goddess cults that proliferated in the ancient Near East before the arrival of those nomadic, freebooting people who became known as Hebrews. The word Hebrew means to cross over, to wander, or to cross a boundary. And so, before the Hebrews got hold of the concept of the serpent was high royalty. High royalty. You have not heard this from the Israelites or the Kemetic community. They're stuck on the serpent talking. They're stuck on the Mickey Mouse versions. I'm taking it to a high level. That's right. Forget all the government informant stuff. We on this right now. And so.
Well, I'm going to take this part right here and break this down before I go any further. Okay? Okay, first of all, how should I put this in a nutshell, in a sense? Satanists also look at the snake too as an eternal being. They also use the symbol of the snake eating its own tail, and that to them is a symbol for eternal life. Now, you have to also keep in hand that when you're dealing with Satanists and Satanism, they believe in eternity as well, but not in eternity in the good sense, eternity in another sense. So if you're sitting here saying that, a snake was a symbol of eternal life, through all these other religions and throughout history and whatnot, you got to understand, or you have to go into what is it that they were worshiping too as well. Not just the fact that they use the snake as a symbol, because, hell, the ambulance, emergency vehicles have a snake with a staff around it, with two snakes going around a staff. You got to understand the meaning behind them things, or what it is that they represent. Now, I will say this as well. People take things so literally that it won't make sense to them. People aren't looking at the meaning and the concept of what's being told to them anymore. It's more them trying to find, how real or how true it is. Where if you don't believe in the first damn place, then you ain't gonna believe anything else. There's nothing that you could that can be told to you. This here too, what this man is going into and starting to talk about is another form of Aleister Crowley Masonic teaching. So let's go ahead and listen.
Let's go further. Not only was the serpent a symbol of the goddess religions that proliferated in the ancient Near East prior to the invasion of the nomadic peoples who became known as Hebrews, they were also, this symbol, the serpent was also a high figure in the sodomite religions that proliferated before the invasion of the Hebrew people.
Sodomite. You heard him, right? Sodomite religion.
I said, not only was the serpent a symbol of the goddess religions which proliferated in the ancient Near East, the serpent was also a wonderful symbol of royalty and procreation in the sodomite cults. Now you hear the word sodomite.
Cults.
And the first thing that goes to your ears is faggot, right? The first thing that goes to your ears is homosexual, right? Of course. But what you don't know about the sodomite cults, and again, you don't hear Hebrews, Israelites, or Kemetic thinkers dealing with the so-called sodomite religions, which proliferated like the goddess religions way before the coming of the Hebrew invaders. That is, that the sodomites were in fact a very religious bunch. I said, get the ass fucking out your head. Get all that booty shit out your head. I said the sodomites were a very religious bunch who also honored and worshipped and showed adoration for the symbol of the serpent.
Oh, they worship.
So the serpent
that's interesting. That's a good thing.
Wonderful guy. In sodomite religion, in goddess religions, in Egyptian religion, Akkadian religion, Sumerian religion.
All these religions that put God, all these religions that put that, all these, I want y'all to see my face. All these religions that he's mentioning in cults are things that put they self and other things of their desire before God. So would it represent a snake? Probably fucking would. What did a snake let man and woman know? That they can see and know things as of God. They could possibly be greater than God. They could be as equal as God. It wasn't the fact that they could be as we could be as equal as God. It's just that our mind would be opened up to so many fucking things that God didn't want us to think about. Bombs, blowing up, backstabbing, terrorizing, all the shit that we do to each other now in the world. God didn't want us knowing all that shit because of the destruction we would bring to our own fucking self. And what has happened? We have done exactly that. So all of these religions that he is mentioning, because I know Sonetta ain't gonna let me, Sonetta won't even let me leave a comment on the damn video, and I never even cuss this man out, called him out his name or anything. So this is the way I gotta address this and do this. So with the whole thing with a snake being a symbol and whatnot, and all these different cults, you're mentioning cults and religions. I want someone to find and show me where God said, you must be this religion. You must be this decree of this person, of this group of people. As far as I know, we're supposed to be Christ-like. In other words, we're not Christ. We're never going to equal up to what, what Jesus and Yeshua has done. But we're supposed to use that, and okay, it's like this. God gives us the 10 Commandments. We still went against that. God said, okay, so I'm gonna go there in a sense where I can relate and see what it is that makes them do and act the way that they do. And when Jesus lived on this earth and seen why we cry, why we go through pain, why we're angry and all that, it's like, okay, you know what? They done put so much on themselves. that they might fall short and do something wrong. I gotta give them a way to be able to have a choice, and also if they make the wrong choice, to be able to make a mistake, you know, and I'll forgive them for it. Not feel like, you know, I'm just gonna send them somewhere to hell, or, you know, wherever like that. Before there was a snake or anything that you want to talk about, there was God. So the fact that he's saying, all in all, that these people in these groups worshipped something that did not create them, let you know, all in all, and I've said this, I've said this in the comment of this video, he's actually answering his own damn question. It may have came out as a good guy. A lot of things that were bad started out with good intentions and ended up bad. Think about that. Jim Jones, he started out good. Look where his intentions. Look where he ended up being. Look at this Nature Boy thing. Nature Boy probably had good fucking intentions when he started, and you can see it when he's not doing the shit he's doing. He just starting to grow his hair and shit. You can see, like, man, there's potential in this cat. Like, he's really trying to go somewhere. But look where it ended up. Look where it's ended. Like, come on, man. Just because it starts or it sounds like good intentions, it don't mean like that's the narrative of the whole fucking thing. Remember, he's going to say, how's this beautiful thing? Lucifer was the most beautiful angel in heaven, okay? A beautiful thing turned out ugly. Are you shitting me?
Native American religion, Indian religion. If you study the great mythologists, Joseph Campbell or Mircea Eliade, they will tell you what myth means. And they will say something like, myth means a story that is not altogether true, yet altogether untrue. Again, Joseph Campbell and Mircea Eliade would tell you that myth is best defined as a story that is not altogether true, yet not altogether untrue. So there is truth. There is truth in mythology. Okay?
Yeah, you know what? I put it like this. The truth in mythology is the very beginning of every fucking story that's told in mythology. But go into the meat, into the back end of it, I guarantee you'll see some fucked up shit. I guarantee you. All this mythology, all this Egypt, all this science, this is all Scientology, all this shit. Mythology, you know, science, all that shit. See, Scientologists and Satanists, they both study mythology a lot because it gives an open window for their bullshit. It gives an open window for their shit to creep in through the back door. You know what I mean? Or what they want to slide in there or try to mistranslate so it fits and suits their needs and their fucking wants. Now, I'm gonna go a little bit ahead of the video. You're gonna hear him say how homosexuality is cool and everything like that. Again, to go into the back door of some other shit, you know, and make it seem like God just crazy. How are you gonna bring a child on this earth, right? And you've been here already, so you're the adult, you're older. How the child gonna talk to you crazy, and you tell the child fire's hot, and they tell you that fire ain't hot, it's cold? How the fuck they gonna tell you some shit that you've been here and you've been experiencing? You already know. You brung them here. They ain't bring you here. You know what I'm saying? Homosexuality, I mean, if you choose the way you want to live your life, that's your choice. But if homosexuality was cool and it was okay, then two people of the same sex would be able to reproduce naturally. And then you know it's okay. Because you know what I never see? I never see two male deers fucking each other in the goddamn woods. And they can't even speak English. But they have a sense within themselves being an animal that I can't fuck him and he can't fuck me, and it will be natural, it will be normal, and we can reproduce. No. So what would make you think, that, oh, they said this and they said that, and the Bible says this about being a homosexual? Wherever it is that you look, if that's what you want to do, then live your life. Don't try to justify it, right? Go ahead,
Going back to the story of the Hebrews, once they began to invade, were worshiping so-called other gods, i.e. goddess religions that cater to the female, and sodomite religions that cater to sexual appetites of male on male and male on female. What do you think they did? This is where the serpent comes in. Clearly, the Hebrew authorities, i.e. the Levitical priesthood, the Levites, they were the preachers of their day. They were what's his name? They were the big time preachers of their day. I can't even name these goddamn preachers. Creflo Dollar. They were the big preachers of their day. When they recognized that their own people were abandoning or worshiping alongside the Yahweh cults, they worshiped the goddess and the sodomite religions alongside, and sometimes exclusively, abandoning their own faith. What do you think the preachers of their day did?
Same shit they doing today.
Let me tell you what they did. And this is where the serpent comes in. The Levites began to write, "Thus saith God." The Levites, the writers, the religious writers of that day, they began to attack every sacred symbol of the goddess religions and the sodomite religions. They began to put pen to paper and attack the very foundation of the sodomite religions and turn the righteous and life-giving serpent of 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 10,000 millennia ago. We cannot. No more than we can ask why the cowboys rode horses instead of having automobiles. Because, as the book of Daniel says, as the end comes closer, knowledge shall be increased. Mm-hmm. And so knowledge is increasing. They say when you know better, you do better. And so when you look at some of the Kemetic stuff, and you look at it as being, oh, it's so perverted. It's all about sex. And so here you have today people saying, the Bible says homosexuality is a sin. No. The Bible does not say that. And when you understand why those things were written, you have a different perspective. Let me give you an analogy. Okay. I think I can give you an analogy.
Now listen.
When we were kids, not all of us, but we heard these things. When we were kids, our parents told us, don't masturbate. Or you heard it from somewhere. And they said if you masturbate, a couple of things might happen. You might go blind if you masturbate. Or you might get hairy palms if you masturbate. Are those things true? No. They're no truer than Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny. Well, why did our parents tell us, don't masturbate or we'll go blind, or don't masturbate or we'll get hairy palms? They told us these things because they, in their warped thinking, did not want us messing around with sex. They did not want us experimenting with sex before our time, whatever time that is. Presumably before adulthood. So, this is why
So what is it that you're saying? Are you saying that, because from what I'm getting that he's saying or he's trying to imply is that you should let your child experiment with sex when they are as soon as they get to the point where they are curious about it, and that leads into other things, and all that other twisted weird shit. I don't know why it would be in a parent's sick or twisted mind, as he put it, to tell the child not to do that. I mean, even if it's a little silly analogy, you'll go blind and stuff like that. The point is, don't do that now, because you know what I mean? Because you'll start focusing on that. We don't want you doing that, and then you start to wonder. Then your mind starts to wonder. That's what God didn't want us to do. Have a wandering ass mind. And when your mind starts to wonder, you start to go off and to do other shit. Now, some kids might experiment with it and might be like, yeah, I'll wait till I'm older. And a lot of kids, especially the way the world is and the way the world is getting, they do that thing. They start experimenting, doing other things. Maybe start looking at pornography at a young age. Maybe might get enticed by an older person because they've already experienced something sexual in their younger stages, so they might want to see someone or be with someone more mature. That opens the door for that type of thing. But go ahead, sir.
They told us these things. We know they're not true today, but they're old tales to try to prevent children from experimenting sexually. And so, when you read, this is my analogy, so when you read in the Old Testament, anything around sex, homosexuality, what you are actually reading are the words of people who are trying to prevent their own people from practicing other forms of religion. I'm going to say that again. When you read in the Old Testament, man shall not lie with man, man shall not lie with man as he lie with woman, the Levites aren't expressing a sexual law that should be not broken. That's not what they're expressing. They are expressing the ideal that the Jewish people should not try other forms of religious worship and belief, i.e. the goddess and the sodomites. And again, don't know if I said it, but I say it now. The goddess and the sodomites use sex as ritual. I'll say it again. The goddess religions and the sodomite religion.
So what are you trying to get at? Are you trying to say that they were trying to stop them from having sex all these different types of ways, and with it, same sex and all this different other weird shit, okay? And they were stopping them in a form of worshiping. So God, I don't get what he's trying to imply. What I'm getting from it is you're saying that I guess that was a form of worship for us to God, was sexual acts, and we're being prevented from it.
Use sex as worship and ritual. In fact, sex as ritual was the highest form of devotion that one could show to the deity. Did you hear me? I said sex as ritual and adoration and adornment was the highest form of worship to these sodomite cults. We'll run out of time.
Did that make it right?
Hope it won't cut off. All right. So.
And this again, man. Like, see this I want everyone to pay attention who do watch or whatever to this whole docu-series. Is everything that I'm showing, each video corresponds and ties into, what I'm saying about these men who take religion, they twist it into their own belief system to either gain something of their own need, want, or desires from it, and not actually showing and talking and telling it in its truest form. So now you're telling me that hot sex on the platter makes God happy. And being that certain groups are trying to put an end to that shit because maybe there were probably adults fucking on kids, which isn't that what Jesus saw when he went to the temple and went and flipped out? Motherfuckers fucking with little kid preached. I mean, come on, it was all kinds of shit. Because if you're saying this is okay, you'll start finding ways to say other things that we know damn well aren't okay are okay.
That's what it is, people. And now, we come out in history with a book, i.e. the Bible, that has flipped the script on the wise serpent and has made him an evil, ugly character. And they have taken sex, whether it be heterosexual or homosexual sex, and they have made it a bad thing. And this is why I have corrected the narrative in my book and continue to correct the narrative and stand with my LGBTQ countrymen, because I understand sex, the whole ideal of sex as sin, is a historical fraud. It's a hoax. We've been bamboozled. We've been tricked to believe that man-on-man sex is something bad. The only reason that the Bible speaks of homosexuality as so-called sin is because it was linked, hear me well, it was linked to the ancient Israelites worshiping and practicing other religions which use sex, heterosexual and homosexual sex, as ritual. This is what...
And I want you to explain to me what would be bad in that. Because again, if you're trying to get me or trying to persuade me to believe that God enjoys seeing you having hot sex with a man and a man or a woman on a man, I mean, come on, that leads into orgy type of conversations, and all kinds of twisted ass shit. This thought process is twisted. This here is also Aleister Crowley, Lavoska, I forget her name, Lavoska or whatever. But this is all that this is Satanist talk right here. That's probably exactly why he got on a red hood, because all this shit here is Satanism. You're not going to sit here and tell me that God adores and worships the fact that he enjoys the union with a man and a woman. Now, you sat right here and said it don't say in the Bible that homosexuality is bad, but then on the other hand, you said that it said a man should not lay with a man as he do a woman. So which is it? It's like you're contradicting yourself. You're trying to use the Bible you're trying to discredit the Bible by proving a point with the Bible. You can't do that. I mean, you can. You're trying. You can. I would evidently try, because that's what you're doing. But, I mean, this is like... this is self-explanatory. He's answering his own questions.
That's bad. So they're putting their books...
And I would like to know, and this is how I know this of course isn't to be disrespectful, but it's just a question: is he homosexual? Because that could be a main reason why he is saying the things that he's saying as well. Because if you live that lifestyle, y'all know, If he's not, that's an even more interesting conversation to have, because it's like, how did you? Okay, I heard what you said and everything. How you tried to, or how you're breaking it down, but that still don't justify. It sounds like you're just taking something and twisting it, and it's being like misconstrued the wrong way to interpret something for you to have as your own. There you go.
God said. And so you get a story like the Sodom and Gomorrah story, and people will love to use that story, and say that God doesn't like homosexuality, and say, look what he did to Sodom and Gomorrah. He burned the people up. when clearly we know that God did not destroy Sodom and Gomorrah because of its sexual practices. That is an outright lie. And if you read the ancient commentators on the subject, they will all tell you
the ancient
Sodom
commentators
and Gomorrah were destroyed for their lack
commentators
of hospitality. Not only that, if you read Ezekiel 16 chapter, I think,
go ahead.
16,
I'm about to blow this out the water right here.
Ezekiel, it will tell you why Sodom and Gomorrah were destroyed. It says because Sodom was prideful and greedy and stingy and would not offer help to the less fortunate. Therefore, God destroyed those cities. Go read it yourself. Never once does God say, I'm destroying you because they faggots. Not only that, to drive the point home, go read in the New Testament what Jesus says about Sodom and Gomorrah. He says the exact same thing as the book of Ezekiel, when he tells his disciples to go 2 by 2 into the world and preach the gospel. And if you enter a house and you go somewhere, a city, and they don't respect your word and your message, and they tell you to get the fuck out, Jesus says, it'll be like Sodom and Gomorrah. And he uses Sodom and Gomorrah as a reference for a city that was inhospitable to its people. And so Jesus says, if the people aren't hospitable, if they are inhospitable to you, when you come and bring them the word, it'll be just like Sodom and Gomorrah. Further proving that the story of Sodom and Gomorrah had nothing to do with homosexuality, but had everything to do with
homosexuality was included. There was a lot entail with that, but homosexuality was one of the things that was included. See what I'm saying? This is what I'm talking about. Now now you take a small thing. This is how they concentrate on one thing and they magnify the shit, and then they twist it and make it look like God's full of shit. God's a liar. No, look, they were kids being sodomized. It was it was a lot of shit that was going on, a lot, and homosexuality was one of many things. So saying homosexuality was the main big thing, no. Homosexuality was included as well as among other things, yeah. And Christ told them to go 2 by 2, and don't ask for anything, because when you speak the word, they'll know who you are and they will offer you into their home. And they don't, and they turn away, then it will be like Sodom and Gomorrah. Then you know what? Then later they'll get it. Later they'll see why they should have, listen to what it is that you had to say. Because when you talk to people nowadays, it's just like today. The way I'm talking right now, look how people attention span is. If this video was entitled J.Matthew slaps the shit out of Suge Knight or some shit like that, just some other shit, I would have so many fucking people live streaming it, because that's something people want to hear. That's drama, you know what I mean? That's a fight. They want to hear it. Oh, what? Let me see what the fuck. But when it's something like this, and we talk about religion, and you talk about people scamming people taking things and twisting them around and whatnot, this is what you get. One live. One person that want to hear it. So there's one person who would let me in their home, or even just sit on the front porch and be like, damn, I didn't know that. I was wondering why everybody's acting crazy. Oh, I'm glad that I'm talking to you because you understand what's going on. Because I was trying to figure it out. But, then again, you know what I mean? It wasn't nothing like God. Look, that's what it is, man. People take that Bible, boy, and they take what they want out. Just like I heard Sonetta, he always talk about, he's always talking about Job, and God let the devil take Job, and and he asked the devil where he was. Where was he at? Like, if God know everything, how do you not know where the devil was? No, it ain't. It's like you taking that out of content. If Lucifer appeared before God, and God asked Lucifer, where have you been? Not in the sense of I don't know where you been. Like, motherfucker, I know where you at. I know where I put life on this planet. So I know where you at. You're fucking with them down there. So where were you at fucking with somebody? Where were you? Who were you trying to fuck with? Oh, you know, just here and there. You know, out and about. Like, God already know, yeah, okay, I know what you were doing. But I want to hear what lie you going to tell. What was you doing? Oh, nothing. You know, just chilling. No, he was. He was fucking with somebody. Like, it's all right. If God know her down, like, y'all, I'm telling you. See, because what these men problem is that they don't see anything greater than themselves. And that's the same exact thought and mindset and process that got us separated from God. When you don't believe that there's something greater than your fucking self, that's what separates you from God. When you got all these people like Nature Boy saying that they God and they, I'm in tune with nature and this, that, and the third. I would not be surprised if a fucking tree fell on Nature Boy and he died from a fucking tree falling on him. That would be nature being in tune with his that would be nature being in tune with his ass. But I'm gonna let him finish.
Hospitality. And if you go read the histories, go read your books on that story, you will see, go read the Interpreter's Dictionary of the Bible on hospitality, you will see. As a matter of fact, hospitality was an ancient, unwritten law that was practiced more stringent than a lot of the laws that were actually written. Did you hear me? I said hospitality was an unwritten law of the ancient Near East that was practiced more stringent than a lot of the laws that are on the books. You gotta go read it. Go read a book by Merlin Stone, When God Was a Woman. Go read some mythology, and you will see what I'm saying is true. Go study the character of the serpent in world mythology, and you will see how the ancient Israelites came along and flipped the script and made a person, a character, a mythological symbol that was once grandiose and pompous and wonderful. Go read it, and you'll see how they flipped the script and made that wonderful character a bad character in their own writings, in their own book. And so, when you study things like...
Now, he said pompous. You think of how many, what was it, the presidents and shit, that had pompous on the end or represented as themselves. They not gods, and they damn sure enough worrying about nothing but some bullshit and had some bullshit going on with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta listen. Listen to what people say and listen to their words, because you'll hear the same similar words and particular words a lot of times in different things. That's what they call the president, pompous. Y'all like pompous, the pompous that we have now, that we got now that's in office? Okay, then. And this is a man-made system that we're talking about. Not God felt, heaven sent. This is a man-made system.
Freemasonry, the Rosicrucians.
You heard him.
Character in their own writings, in their own book. And so, when you study things like Freemasonry, the Rosicrucians, when you study secret societies, and they appear to be what they call devil worshiping, or giving the sacred symbol of the serpent its proper perspective, this is what you're having. This is why people say crazy things about Freemasonry or the Illuminati, is because they have a higher understanding of the sacred symbolism. And so they can truthfully, rightfully put back the symbol of the serpent where he should be. And that is the light giver, the shining light, the bearer of fruit, the eternal one, symbol of procreation. All those wonderful things you have heard tonight.
Procreation, bearer light, all that shit sounds like Lucifer to me. All of that shit sounds like Lucifer. So it's like, You said all those things and came full circle, like the snake eating itself, to say exactly what that's Lucifer. The light bearer. Is that not what, I mean, in the Bible it do call, it do reference Lucifer as the light bearer, because, Lucifer was the one that helped, like, was, how should you say in the light, in a sense? I mean, it was just God's, the head angel, the light bearer. And even with, think about it, even with the conversation that he said allegedly happened with Eve, what was the serpent doing? Opening Eve's eyes to shit that God didn't want. See, and that's what makes man mad. Why God don't want me to see everything? Because there's a fucking reason. There's a reason. You have children. There's a reason why. Look, God set this world up perfect. And it's like, you have all these chances. And this is what God looks at when we die. You had all these chances from the time you were born. Unless your life was taken away from you as a child, if it's a child. But when you're an older person, you have all these chances, because look, you have children, right? So you have those emotions, those feelings, those connections. So you understand how God feels, because we are children to God and we are part of God. That's why God looks at us as children. Look at Steve Wilkos and shows like that. You see adults arguing like big ass fucking kids. We argue today. You see it every other day or so. You seen it before in your life. People arguing, and then when you break down their argument, it'd be some stupid shit. It'd be dumb. Some shit that, if you think about it, these are two big ass kids fighting over a toy. I mean, whatever the situation is, okay? And you have children, so you had those experiences, right? Oh, why God's a jealous God? Okay, would you be a jealous parent if you had a child and your child went and started listening to another adult and didn't listen to you? Would you be pissed off, or would you be okay with it? I think you would be pissed off. And if you would be pissed off, then would that be considered jealousy? Okay, then. God don't want, why my mama don't want me to drink? She drink because your mama or your daddy's older and they know what alcohol can do to you. You are a child. You cannot handle something like that. That could put you in harm's way. That could kill you. Anything. It's the same fucking type of concept. It's like people aren't getting it. They want to twist shit their way because you want the world to be free. You want to be able to do where the fuck it is, and just whoever's weak, they weak. And the strong just kill the weak, and you live how it's crazy. It's nuts.
In this little talk, the Freemasons give that standing back to the symbol of the serpent. That's what's going on.
He must be a Freemason. He look like he's one.
And unlearned, and have knowledge straight from YouTube, and that's it. Then you don't understand the sacred symbolism of a character like the serpent, and you take him at his word to be a bad guy because one book among thousands of mythologies, one mythology among thousands of mythology has said that the serpent is bad. You take that one look.
Hey, look, what did God say? The road to hell is wide and crowded, right? But the road to heaven is very few and narrow. So yeah, maybe, of course, look, I've said this before too. I think in every different religion, all the good and the good sense that's in them, I think all that stuff is part of the Bible that got shredded all up into different religions, and people took other shit, which is basically the truth. Some man came along, said, I'm gonna take this and twist it and make it this. And it became that, and people believed it and kept on going, so on and so forth. That's how the shit went.
And discount what they said in Arcadia for 1,000 years. You discount what they said about the serpent in Sumeria for 1,000 years. You discount what Egypt said about the serpent for 2,000, 10,000 years. You discount what the Native Americans here in America say about the serpent for thousands of years. You discount when India and Rome and the Persian religions, you discount their righteous view of the serpent and stand with one book, not only that, one book, the youngest, the serpent motif, the serpent archetype of the Old Testament is the youngest serpent archetype to come before humanity. It ain't old. It ain't old. You stand with the youngest archetypal serpent instead of looking at how serpent was viewed the world over. And you refuse to ask your question, how can he be beautiful and wonderful and life-giving all over the fucking world? And then when you read him in the Bible, he's trying to woo the draws off a bitch. Excuse me, Eve.
And again, like I'll say, like I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't even think Lucifer wasn't a he. I only think Lucifer was a she. I think Lucifer was a he and a she. Mainly more a she than a he, but I think Lucifer was both things. And it wasn't trying to woo the panties off of no bitch. I mean, they could have just had a conversation just like two women do. You know, I'll get into that on another spill. But I wanted you all to see this to show you how crazy they can take a word and manipulate it and make it something of their own. You know, and if you don't sit down and have a conversation and explain stuff, I mean, you start hearing all them people throwing big words, dates and numbers, and an old timeline, and they'll throw you off and have you out there in the water floating, looking for like, damn, well, where was I going with this? It's not even that hard. It's not that hard, man. It's not. If a man and a man was meant to be together, they would be able to produce as well. Okay? It don't work that way. If a woman and a woman are supposed to be together, they would be able to reproduce life. But they can't. Alright? So until you show me that naturally, not no genetics, not no machines, and no splicing or none of that, without science being involved, I mean the good old-fashioned natural way, then you know this here is bull crap.
This is your sin. This is what the Kemetic community don't teach. And this is what the Hebrew Israelite community don't teach. They're stuck in internecine fighting over the character of the serpent as a man. Did he talk? And all that Simple Simon elementary preschool shit.
And who ain't said it was a man?
Higher understanding.
Who said it was a man?
I challenge you, do your research, and bear me out. Bear me out. They claim to have doctrines. They claim to be about Israel, but they can't give you history. They can't give you the history of the fucking book. They can't give you the breakdown because they are so utterly convinced that what they have is the truth. Again, I consider myself a Kemetic thinker, but I don't like how the Kemetic community and I don't like how the Israelite community play this judgment game about how people understood divinity 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 10,000 years ago. I don't like it. It's wrong. And one day, 5,000 years from now, they may look back at 2019 and think our understanding of God and the divine was so warped. They may have their own judgments, which they shouldn't, because you can never, it is intellectually and spiritually and religiously dishonest to judge another people's religious understandings from ages gone by. And so...
But that's exactly what you're doing. That's exactly what you're doing, though.
I know they have fun with it, and I enjoy listening to it. But the bottom line is, you can't judge the dick in the mouth of an Egyptian god. No more than you can judge in the Bible when it says, when Abraham and Jacob took an oath by putting their hand on another man's dick to swear to tell the truth. And that's in there too.
Now, I want you to show me that.
The word thigh, you know, thigh, your leg thigh.
Mm-hmm.
When you read the word thigh, it is a euphemism, meaning nice language, for the genitalia, for the dick. And so when Abraham puts his hand on his thigh, or when Jacob says he put his hand on the thigh of another man, he's talking about holding another man's dick.
That is
and
not
making an oath. And so
that is not. See, this is the irreverent bullshit that I'm talking about. Thigh was not a fucking nice gesture for a penis. Your thigh was your fucking thigh. So if I put my hand on you, if I'm talking to you, I mean back then, like we're not talking about now, but back then, like to show I'm serious, I might put my hand on your thigh and say, like, you know, I swear this to you. You know, I swear what I'm saying to you is true, or I promise this to you, you know, and each one had a hand on a thigh swearing, making an oath. They wasn't putting their hand. Why would they would have said rod? You know, they place a palms upon thy rod, upon thy male rod or some shit like that, and made an oath and swore it. The thigh is the thigh. That's it. This was exactly what I'm saying. They take stuff, people take what they want to and twist that shit and make it a whole different thing. Like, get out of here, man. Motherfuckers wasn't going around grabbing dick. You would hear that. You know how many times you would hear that throughout the whole Bible then? If that phrase is true, that the thigh meant the penis, man.
You can look at that as homosexuality, but it's not homosexuality. It is their understanding of religious matters and oaths back in those days. You can't judge that.
Okay, so even with you just saying that too, okay, if you can't judge that, let's just say in your twisted mind that they are grabbing a penis, all right, and they're doing it to make an oath. That has nothing to do with, and like you just said, okay, you said it's not homosexuality, so even with you saying that, what does that have to do with homosexuality then? If they were not doing that for the purposes of homosexuality, how is that justifying being homosexual? Or it's saying that it is okay? That's what I'd like to know too.
We are simple, Simon. We are religiously dishonest to even have these discussions about what happened 2 or 3 or 4,000 years ago, religiously speaking. And so this is my talk on the whole ideal that the serpent was a bad guy. No, the serpent became a bad guy only in Hebrew mythology. But when you look at the serpent in other mythologies around the world, you see that he was a good guy.
That's why it's called
Our
myth.
biggest problem as
That's why it's just called mythology.
Not just Hebrew, but as Christian folks, we discount all other mythologies, or we say all other stories are mythology, and our story is truth. This is our other grave sin. We discount all other books, and we say that the Bible is the definitive, all-encompassing truth, and everybody else is mythology, and we are stories. I'm going to tell you one quick story and I'm out. I remember taking a mythology class in college. First day of the course, the instructor handed out the syllabus. A syllabus is a worksheet showing everything you're going to be discussing and everything you're going to be tested on. I remember him passing out the syllabus, and the first thing, people started reading the syllabus. They saw Hebrew mythology, they saw Persian mythology, they saw Greek mythology, they saw Roman mythology, they saw Native American mythology, and then they saw Christian mythology. And do you know, several people got up and left the class and unenrolled from the class and told the teacher, there is no Christian myth. They can accept everybody else as myth. But when they saw Christian myth, they got up and said, I'm out. That is the arrogance of what we've come to as an American religious body politic.
And I'm gonna go on to say this and wrapping this up. There's not a place where God said you had to be a certain religion or denomination in order to know God. Even Yeshua said to get through God, no one gets to my Father but through me. That means just you live your life how you supposed to morally and correctly. You're gonna make mistakes. You ask for forgiveness in those mistakes, and you learn from them, and you move on. You don't pass your mistakes down to the next generation or the family or people in your household. You show them better so they do better, and we get back to where we were. If everyone lived by this, I guarantee you we'd probably be about 2 feet away from God by now. But being that there's so many people in the world that we don't live this way, we are where we are. We are where we are. Okay? Everything that's done on this planet is not by God. As far as danger and evil and those things are concerned, we do it to each other. Until we learn that and learn from it and do better, we're going to be where we are. Thank you for listening. Log in, like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Y'all have a good day. I'm out.